Don't you dare.
Clifford, no, no fetch! No fetch! Clifford!
From the very get-go, I had always seen this story as sort of E.T., where you had a lead character that was going through issues and felt alone in the world, who befriends sort of a magical creature that also feels alone.
Look at you. When we first see Emily, she's at school and she's being bullied. You shouldn't even be here. This keeps happening, and then she finds Clifford, and Clifford makes her feel really happy. We're just the cutest thing I've ever seen.
There's not many more iconic roles for an 11-year-old lead girl than the Clifford books, and I think we found the absolute perfect one.
The casting process on this was one of the greatest experiences. To start with Darby. I mean, Darby Camp is one of the great young actresses of her generation.
When I first got the script, I thought it was amazing. It was very inspiring, and I thought it was very magical, and I was like, wow, it's gonna be so fun to play Emily Elizabeth.
Darby is naturally just organic in her acting ability, and she's also super funny, smart, and she just has this endearing personality that you're always hoping for the best for her in the story.
She's annoyingly good. I found her infuriating yesterday. I mean, she just did several scenes absolutely superbly. I thought she's channeling it from somewhere, and she's also very nice to her, and that gets to me too.
Darby Camp is a brilliant actress, so good, and I'm just amazed by her levels of professionalism. Where's your sense of humor?
I lost it on the subway.
I lost you one time.
Casey's a fascinating character.
He's a bit of a mess. His life is in disarray. Hey there. He's always late, but very well-intentioned, and you kind of want him to get his stuff together. I was familiar with the Clifford stories. My mum had read them to me when I was a kid.
I think something happened to him.
You think? And I really enjoyed the script. It had a lot of heart, it had a lot of humor, and it felt like one of those great family movies.
Jack Whitehall's an incredible comedian. He's so good because he can balance heart and he can balance big comedy moments. He's just got this charming quality that you love about him in almost any situation.
I see Jack as me 50 years ago, but braver than me, a lot braver than me, because he does stand-up.
We've tried to surround him with a bunch of other well-known great comedians, whether it's Paul Rodriguez or Horatio Sands, Tony Hale, Alex Moffat, Kenan Thompson, and Rosie Perez. We got just this wonderful ensemble of amazing comedic talent.
Everyone has a different comic energy, and it's so exciting each time one of them is on set and you're playing with them.
That's the large teeth on the big red dog.
Is that a medical opinion? It sounded very scientific.
They'll never even know we were here.
That would have sounded so much cooler if you weren't holding a SpongeBob flash drive. Shh.
Working.
Isaac Wang, who plays Owen, is a force of nature. I can see him stealing a lot of scenes. He is a ball of energy that just doesn't stop.
I really liked my role. I thought Owen was a fun character. It's Owen, right? You know my name? Did I say that out loud? First, saliva drops on him. Second of all, he gets swung around by Clifford when he was holding him by the scruff. And Clifford farts in the van.
Isaac made Walt and I laugh out loud the moment he walked in. He's an unbridled young comic.
Oh, now you need help. Now you need help. All right, everybody's helped.
There you are.
The movie, in its core, has a lot of magic, and it was based on the impishness of Bridwell, the author of all the books.
I think he's lost his family, so he's a little confused. They decided they wanted a slightly sort of fairy godfather, somebody who's just a little bit magical. And so they gave him the name of the guy who wrote the original books, Bridwell. So I'm Bridwell.
John is a magical human being. First of all, he's huge, right? He's 6'5", so not so different than Clifford. And John has such a huge ability to perform as someone who could change the destiny of the world simply by making it laugh and simply by making it look at itself in a different way.
The scenes are witty, and there's not a great deal of really good writing about. So when you get a script that has lines in it that make you smile, and you kind of think, ooh, I'd like to be part of it.
But to be able to work with someone that's such a sweet guy in real life and such a comic genius who's done so many movies that I grew up loving, it was really a treat.
he is hands down my inspiration. So working with him, even meeting him, was very terrifying because you're just like, oh God, please don't be a letdown. He is amazing. He's so fun. He's so mischievous, and it's an experience that I'm so thankful that I've had.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to crush my niece's dreams. I always wondered what it felt like to be the bad guy.
My pleasure.
All of these characters are so diverse as human beings and so much fun.
There's a lovely message, and I would love children to have laugh, but also thinking that maybe we need to be a little bit nicer to each other.
I love how it's basically telling you it doesn't matter if you're different or anything, everyone should love you no matter what. Just because Clifford's big and he's red doesn't mean that you should be scared of him. It matters what's on the inside, and it's very inspiring to everyone around the world. He doesn't hurt anyone. He loves.
The love between humans and their pets is real and amazing and magic in itself. And if we can sort of capture that and spread that out amongst ourselves around the world, then I think we'll be making strides and finding ourselves in a better place.
Oh my gosh. Clifford? How did this happen? How are you so huge?
And action. Early on, I started realizing that we were going to need some version of a very big puppet for our actors to act with.
Oh, for the love of Mike.
And just for us setting up shots to know how big is a 10-foot dog.
This is my dog, Clifford.
Oh, is he so big?
He's so cute.
I love him.
I'm Rowan McGee. And I'm John Riddleberger. We puppeteer the stand-in for Clifford, the reference puppet that's in the background here. Essentially, we're doing something called reference puppetry. So Clifford will be a CGI character, but because he doesn't exist, they wanted something physical on set who could act the scenes with the actors. So Creature Effects in LA built the puppet for us.
Clifford, drop it.
Unbelievable.
You can see in the back, that's the front half of the puppet, and there's also a back half. And essentially, we strap in, it's like a backpack, and the two parts connect together by actually just pool noodles. And then the front half has handles that they move up and down and left and right, and that controls the way the head moves.
All right, let me take a look there. It's good to be the butt sometimes to learn how the head needs to operate and vice versa. Sit.
No, don't say that!
When you're in butt, it seems like it's less weight you have to bear, but you're also aware of, you can see more, so you're aware of everybody on set. We just switch based on fatigue. That front half is 75 pounds. So after half an hour in there, you get pretty tired.
Shouldn't we try to hide him or something?
Ah, it's New York. No one will even notice.
The puppet is incredibly realistic in its movement, so it genuinely feels like you are working with a 10-foot dog.
Well, that means he likes you.
The way they make him move, they really understand the heart and the soul of being a puppet, these two guys, and they operate in tandem together that's just like they were born together to do this.
Awesome. The puppeteers in Clifford, they technically are acting, because they're acting as Clifford. And when I'm doing like all the emotional scenes, I actually feel like it's a dog. It's not right to take him away just because he's big and red. It's really fun, and it takes a lot of imagination. But then the puppeteers do such a good dog. They make it, they do such a good job. They make it seem as if the dog is real. It's hilarious. Dog's up!
No! If Clifford comes off as a tangible, real creature that people can love, I think that would be satisfying.
Red Dog of New York.
It gave us a sort of a sense of life for something that's not there that was really pretty fantastic.
What the heck is going on in there?
Must be these old pipes, huh? Look at you. Uncle Casey, he's so cute.
So red.
How big is he gonna get?
That depends, doesn't it?
On what?
On how much you love him.
Probably about 20 years ago, I first contacted Scholastic about the idea of bringing Clifford into being a major 4-quadrant motion picture. It is a property that has been in so many people's hearts.
Anytime you have a piece of IP that's been around for that long, it's always exciting because you've shared it in your childhood, you're sharing it with your kids in their childhood, and now we're hoping to share a slightly different version of Clifford with the rest of the world.
This is my dog, Clifford. I definitely knew about Clifford, like Clifford was in my life. I remember the Scholastic Book Fair upstairs and Clifford being there. And I totally remember Clifford and how big he was.
Clifford was first published by Scholastic in 1963. He's really our mascot, and he stands for so much of what Scholastic stands for. Norman Bridwell, who is the creator of Clifford, was a commercial illustrator, and he had this idea to write this book about a big dog. And he actually passed it around to several publishing houses that rejected it outright.
When Scholastic called, I remember getting on the phone and the lady says, I'm with Scholastic Books and we want to publish this book, Clifford the Big Red Dog. And my voice went from this up to something like this. My throat closed up because I simply couldn't believe it. And even now I can't believe it. After I did the first book, my wife said, well, you can write another one. And I said, no, this is just a fluke. Don't count on any more.
That first book became a second book and a third book and a fourth book, and now we have TV shows and a movie, so he built something kind of amazing.
Norman Bridwell himself either originated or wrote the concepts behind 60 books. Since then, we have published about up to 500 different versions of Clifford books.
From the time I was a boy, I'd wanted a dog the size of a horse that I could ride. I tried riding a horse one time and it was just awful. He wasn't a very nice horse. And so I thought at that time, well, if you had a dog the size of a horse, he'd be gentle. And I had him there in my mind. And I just thought it would be funny to have a little girl with a really big dog. I was going to call him Tiny.
I did wish for you to be big, but I didn't mean big on the outside. I meant, like, mentally big.
Norman's wife, Norma, suggested that Tiny was a bit boring.
What about something cool and old-fashioned, like Floyd? Ebenezer!
And she had a childhood imaginary friend named Clifford.
You like Clifford? Clifford, it is.
And that's where he got his name, from Norman's wife's imaginary friend. Clifford is red really almost accidentally. Norman was doing his first kind of coloring of it, and he had sort of a green grass and blue sky, and because he was a commercial illustrator, there was a pot of red paint.
I had a jar of red paint on my desk when I did the original painting, and for some reason, I just thought, well, I'll make him a little different. And I put my paintbrush in the red jar and I painted the dog red. That's another thing. The red seems to reach children's psyches.
Right from the beginning, kids really responded to him. Norman wrote a dog, a real dog, but a dog that had empathy for the kids around him, and a dog that was loyal and fun and a real true best friend. And I think because of that, it's lasted this long.
I think that's one thing kids like about him, that he's not perfect. He's not really the dog that can just do anything. He knocks things over, he makes mistakes, and he's forgiven. He's forgiven because Emily loves him.
We have to be big and strong. Remember? So that the world can't hurt us.
Emily's changed over the years a little bit. Over the years, she's become more independent, which I think that really appeals to this generation and young girls because she's definitely more empowered than she's ever been.
Hi, Mom.
Amy, what on earth is going on?
Clifford's in trouble.
An hour away.
Mom, I can handle this.
I felt it was super important to make sure that we told a story about empowerment, not just female empowerment, but empowerment for young people, that they can have a voice and they can make a difference even at 11.
It's not right to take him away just because he's big and red. So please let me keep my dog.
The film is actually chock full of little Easter eggs.
A great moment from the books, and which we use to quite some impact at the very end of the movie, is Emily actually riding Clifford, which is sort of wish fulfillment on a grand scale as she's riding her big red dog all through the streets of New York to the finale.
Bridwell's the name, and welcome to my Tentus Animalis Rescuers.
It was really important for us to pay homage to Norman. And so John Cleese plays this character, Mr. Bridwell, and he is kind, funny.
We were looking for you and we thought you were dead.
Well, I hope not. I just booked a safari.
And magical, and helps in just the right way when it's needed.
This movie really wanted a sort of magical character, a wizard, if you will. And we thought it was a great nod to the author, Norman Bridwell, to name this great magical character played by the wonderful John Cleese after him.
People say it's quite like magic.
It's been amazing to see what I've grown up with and what have been sort of really canon for Scholastic, be turned into a really vibrant movie that is timeless and absolutely pays homage to everything that is Clifford, and yet so current, so funny.
There we are.
So emotional, so full of laughs.
Ew. Clifford. Oh, sorry.
Clifford has been printed in 20 different languages. There's 134 million books in print.
That's impossible.
So it also means that there are generations of people that have grown with these stories.
You know, when we think about the Clifford books, we really want to make sure that they are steeped in empathy and accepting differences and community and really being your best self and being kind. Clifford represents the child in all of us, and he's the friend that you really hope to find who's loyal and kind and will always be there for you.
And so, the pure, simple love between a girl and her dog changed everything.
Are you thinking about opening up your heart and home to a new furry friend? Concerned that your cute little puppy might grow to be 10 feet tall overnight? Well, fear not. Caring for a 10-foot dog is challenging, but totally possible.
Clifford?
These tips and tricks will show you how to show your big pal some big love. Make sure you have big toys ready in order to avoid potential disasters.
Clifford!
Oh, no. No. Bad doggy.
Clifford, stop!
Invest in a quality nose plug for, well, you know.
Oh, Clifford! Gross! This is what killed the dinosaurs! No, roll! You kill him with ripping confined space!
Be prepared for playtime to get a little messy.
No! My bed! Clifford, no! That's my mom's pillow! Give it back!
Exercise caution when meeting smaller dogs.
Really?
Always have an umbrella or waterproof gear handy.
What is he doing?
I hope I'm not around for number 2.
Make sure your extra large friend has an extra large bowl to drink from. Or they might do this.
Well, that means he likes you.
Great.
For times you need to get somewhere fast, be sure to brush up on your riding skills.
These security vehicles all chasing after a young girl riding a giant red dog.
And there you have it. Now you have all the tools you need to make sure you and your dog are happy and healthy for years and years to come.